So after many years of searching, I finally decided I'm going to undertake to upgrade my 2005 Tarpon 160i to a Phase 3 AirPro seat, and this is the first phase where I've removed all the old seating and taken up my two pads that were glued down in the areas where I sat, and I've taped off and marked the center line of the boat to position everything. The parts are slowly arriving, and we'll see more when we start figuring out how to put everything back together here. I have been able to get all the parts I need from Top Kayaker and Austin Kayak. The biggest complexity with this upgrade is trying to figure out how to do this situation right here. This is the seat back sitting in the recess that was formerly occupied by the original Tarpon 160i seat back, and as you can see, the pin that sticks out on the far side of the seat back here doesn't have anywhere to go. So the decision is to either drill holes in the hull on either side of this recess so that this can go down in here and go through a hole and pivot like it has to, or cutting that pin off the end and then cutting the center strut out of the back and using the original seat back clamp to hold this in place and allow it to pivot slightly. So we're reviewing that now, and we'll have a decision in time to get everything else along with the seat back put in. So I think the decision is going to be to drill holes in the sides of this recess and use the spring-loaded pin that provided with the kit to allow this to pivot in here rather than using the old clamp. The clamp would also additionally compromise the webbing that has to run through here in order to be able to make the seat back adjustable vertically. That strapping comes up to a cleat that's in front of the leg lifter that allows you to pull this down or let it up in order to adjust the height for comfort. So in order to locate where the holes have to be drilled, I've marked the center line on each side of the groove. The trough itself is 1 3/4 inches wide at the top, so the center line is 7/8 of an inch, and I've marked that both on this side and on the near side over here. The next thing we have to do is figure out how deep it is, and in order to do that you have to put something stiff across that gap. So I went and dug up an old drafting triangle that's just stiff enough for what we need to do here, and we'll take the depth gauge and stick it down in there and see where we end up. Okay, so we're measuring right at a 1-inch depth, and we have to subtract the thickness of the gauge to find out exactly where we are, or the thickness of the triangle rather. So we have to take about 8 thousandths off of that in order to get to the actual depth. I also measured the diameter of the pin and the rotating piece on the bottom of the seat collar, or bottom of the seat upright. The pin itself is 1/2 inch in diameter, and the larger section is about 1.23. So with that we can lay out where the holes need to be on this side right here and over here. So here is the completed installation of the Phase 3 AirPro seat in a 2005 Tarpon 160i hull. I opted for attaching the forward straps for the leg lifter at the location where the handles are screwed into the hull, because these are embedded fittings and they're very strong. I also opted for drilling holes in the two sides of the seat pocket here and here to put this piece in with the spring-loaded pin over here. And I had to grind a little bit of a relief on the back side back here in this area right here in order for this strap to slide freely. The only thing I haven't done yet is put the rivets in the leg lifter and on the tabs for the seat back, or for the seat pad, to hold it down. I'm going to do that shortly and then put it in the water and give it a go and see how it works. But I had it on the ground a little while ago to sit in it, and I am thrilled. Sorry about that wilderness, but you're not going to get to sell me a new boat anytime soon, because this is really slick. And my wife is already asking me for a seat back on her 2007 hull, which is essentially the same seat arrangement. I don't think I got $300 on